funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood.
And I think we are live. I'm not 100% sure. Going to need a lot of help tonight. This is the Underdog Journey. I'm David Leffingwell. Wes Carnahan couldn't be here tonight. He is at a cardigan convention and as a keynote speaker. So unfortunately, he will not be joining us today. And we are going to ask for a lot of your help. So if you're out there watching tonight, get a lot of chats, a lot of comments in the chat tonight. And let's keep it going, okay? So the problem we have is normally these podcasts are hosts from west side of the world with a completely different software. So with him being at the cardigan convention this week, I've got all new software. Everything is running significantly different than it has in the past. So here we go. I got audio chiming in on me here. I need to get down to where I can see my... There we go. Sorry for the hard stop there. I had to get it on the right screen. So anyway, so everything's all different. And I've got, a screen here and I got my other screen here. Today would have been a great day to go back to my old setup where I had the dual monitors and I could have had things a little more easily at my fingertips. But here we go. We're trucking on. So anyway, hopefully everybody had a good week and grab yourself a drink, buckle in. This probably won't go a full hour tonight just because it's just me and it's really sometimes kind of hard just to sit and talk to you. You think doing a podcast with another person's hard. Sit and just talk to a camera by yourself. Absolutely weird. So tonight, just to keep on track here, I'm rocking Blanton's tonight. If I got to do this by myself, I might as well drink the good stuff, right? But in backup, I've got a bottle of Weller Reserve. I have the Antique 107 over there, and I really am a fan of it, but I think I actually lean more towards the Weller Reserve. So if for some reason I take a hanker, and I've got that done, and I've got a whole shelf full of bourbons over there. Oh, I'm real close to my hands. I've got 3 bottles of Blackened. So I'm absolutely not in danger of going through this sober. So we got Devin Ross watching there. He's got Bush Light. So we have another viewer who hops on here from time to time, and he calls that Bush Latte. And so Matt Hamlin, thoughts and everything going out to your family and your father. So hopefully we get to see you guys soon or see you soon on here on the show and talk about your business and everything. But actually, I kind of wish I had a link that I could share to you guys because they're selling some merchandise for the Hamlin family, and we want to push and support that as much as we can. So on to it. We talked about the drinking. Yep, did that. Oh, speaking of drinking, there was an over-under last week about whether I was going to end up drinking with the band The Four Horsemen, which is a tribute band, an album-quality tribute band to Metallica, and I did not end up drinking with them. I did hang and chill with them for a little bit, but I got to tell you, you don't go to Niagara Falls. Do not go to Niagara to party. With the exception of the casino that's up there, that place is once the sun starts going down, everybody's like, nope, we're going to Canada. Now, I don't have my passport back yet, but when it comes, I'm going to be heading over there and having a good old time because you look from our side over to the Canadian side and that place is hopping. all the time. So they do it up, but once you get outside of that, I mean, it's still Canada. So it is what it is. But in that area, if you're going to be in the area, make sure you take I think the Real ID that we're doing now will allow you. Don't quote me on that. Look into that, because I'll be looking into it as well. But allow you back and forth for on the, I think it's called the Rainbow Bridge or something along those lines. But anyway, that's what happened. I did go. Now I tell you, I got to the show early, and it's not a big venue, but I got to the show early, and I sat and I watched the opening act, a band called Stupefy, which is another tribute band, as you guys can tell. Is Stupefy is Disturbed, and I gotta tell you, that band absolutely freaking brought it. So I mean, the Four Horsemen, if you've ever seen them, their playing level is nothing to be laughed at. They're actually based out of Ohio, up in the Cleveland, Akron, blah, 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 that kind of northeast corner of Ohio. So if you've never had a chance, absolutely go see them. And now I've got a new one to follow, and that's the Disturbed cover band, or the Disturbed tribute band, and they're called Stupefy. And those people, man, they really, really, really brought it. So if you guys get a chance, absolutely go and check those guys out. So I'm going to take a drink, which there's nobody here to counter me. So I'm just going to take a drink, and it's dead air. We do have a bit of an agenda, and I kind of wanted to build off what we were talked about last week. And that was, we talked a lot about avatars last week and how important it was to create and maintain a connection and a conversation with your avatar. It is probably one of the most important things you can do. In my business, what I do is based around life safety. So to me, it's life safety, and my customers spin off for that. So at the core, the North Star to me is, and I got to take a drink because I used a business buzzword. Sorry about that, guys. So at the core for me is life safety, and the customers that I have that's at their core as well. We work very well, and that's who I build my avatar off of. And I keep that centric to everything I do. That is, everything points in that direction, so I stay customer centric to the people that are serving the life safety industry. So it's real easy as you start running the business, instead of actually, interacting with the customers. Once you start running the business, it's really easy to get disconnected from them and start looking at spreadsheets and balance and profit and losses and statement of cash flows and all of these things on a more common basis. And you should, but you also need to tie them back to these revolve around your customers and never lose focus of that. So keep that avatar and have that ongoing conversation with your avatar. But to build on top of that, for this week, I titled, I don't think it came through, but the title of tonight's 141st episode tonight is The Art of Closing the Sale. A couple techniques and strategies for successful sales. And I looked through a couple of books. I've looked through a couple online searches. I've done a little bit of research on this because, to be honest, it's what I do is the world of sales. And most of the stuff I wildly disagreed with, and was at a point where I'd say, if somebody was to come into my office and try these tactics on me, I would literally kick them out of my office. There's just no way in hell I can deal with that. I got the image on almost every one of them, almost, not all, almost every one of them, a slick back, greasy haired used car salesman. That's what I got. Pete the cat from the Mickey Mouse people selling Christmas trees. That's kind of if you're old enough, you know what I'm talking about. Pete nowadays is kind of a very watered down version of his old, very angry and nefarious self. So I went through and looked at a couple of them, and I pulled out a couple things that I definitely wanted to talk about. And the main thing that we have to talk about right now is closing the sale means something different in almost every market and almost every aspect. Because if you are, let's say we've got Devin, that means Devin's wife is around as well. We're doing brownies, closing that sale may be something as simple as a image on a social media page. that is where the sale closes. You've already captured the revenue. And from what I've seen, I'm going to give you a free bit of advice. Start capturing the revenue for the time slots. Devin Ross's wife, start capturing the revenue for the time slots, and you won't have as many no-shows. But we'll talk about that another time. Anyway, back to the topic here. We're going to discuss. Let's take Stevie Evans. Stevie Evans, he is not at the store that's carrying Big Bentley's pet supplies, cleaning products, and other things for dogs and cats and various emu. He's not there shaking hands and kissing babies to make that close. So his product has to be able to close the sale on the shelf. That goes from everything from the price, absolutely takes a role, from the price to the appearance of the product. If you're selling yourself on and Wes and I talked about this a few weeks ago, if you're selling yourself as a premium product versus a value brand, it's a significant difference of marketing in there. Value brands, your only arrow in the quiver is price. But as a premium brand, now we've got packaging, we've got warranties, we've got the ability to interact with our customers, from a QR code online, other things, on and on and on and on that has to do it, because you don't have David from the Underdog Journey there closing this deal. You don't have Wes from Cardigans R Us closing this deal. You have your product on the shelf for these goods or services. And this goes across the board. You go to the grocery store, what kind of cheese you want? Well, people, Kraft brand cheese, that's a big brand name. A lot of people know it, and it goes through there. There's some other more higher end products that I tend to lean towards. And then there are some times when I'm making, a lot of food for like a party or something. I'm like, all right, these people get the big bag of cheese. It's at the bottom of the cooler there. That's like 3 pounds of cheddar for making quesadillas out on the griddle. So it all depends on what it is. And so your product on the shelf is what is closing that sale. But more what I'm going to talk about today is when you personally are closing the sale, when you are actually interacting with your customers. So yes, we've already acknowledged there are other ways to close the sale. There are other things that close the sale. Great marketing, which is where West comes into play. Great marketing, branding, all of these things assist in that. And some of those things, like Drown Me in Brownies or Bentley's Pet Supply, that's what's on the shelf to close the sale is the product. So, and the marketing got you there. So it weighs a little bit more. But we're going to focus on that kind of that interaction between you and the customer. And again, you should be talking to your avatar. And for some reason, my dog is deciding to absolutely wig out. Oh, because there's a puppy dog walking along the street 30 yards that way, and my dog sees that as an encroachment upon her territory and is having absolutely none of it. So that is what the dog barking was. Okay, back at it. We're talking about the interaction between you and your customer on a direct basis. So keeping that avatar in front of you. Remember that you're not speaking to a group of people. You are speaking to your core avatar. If you are speaking down that line and this is your customer, you are going to resonate with them. You're going to do well. One of the first things you need to do is look at the sales process. How does the sales process look? What does the sales cycle look like? What's the time frame from when people are thinking about buying to the time that they actually issue, basically when they bring the money to the table for product or service? So what is that sales? And these are all things that you should be working out, whether you're making the brownies, whether you're doing pet cleaning products, whether you're wrapping cars with decals or otherwise, keeping that there and knowing what the sales cycle is, very, very big part of what your success is. And that should be in your customer avatar. From when does Jane look to purchase artisanal brownies? Well, from the time that Jane thinks about buying artisanal brownies and the time that Jane actually purchased said artisanal brownies, what does that time frame look like? And the bigger thing is, can we have any control in it? So knowing and understanding your sales cycle is going to be a very, very big deal to you. And me, this is just Dave now. What I do understand is I like to take control of that sales cycle. Let's say I'm trying to make brownies and I'm trying to increase my revenue in this. I want to take the time frame from I'm looking for artisanal brownies to I am purchasing artisanal brownies and closing them down. In case you guys didn't know, the word of the day was artisanal, and I've got my quota, so I can stop saying it now. So when I'm thinking about purchasing it and when I actually close the sale, I wanted to bring that down as short as possible. So how do we do that? We interact with the customers, and the best thing, the goal is closing the deal. So there is, there are the options. We're going to stick with the brownie experience right now, and we're going to talk about how are we going to shorten that sales cycle? How are we going to close that deal? And it is keeping that introduction, keeping that daily refresh up, because right now we're marketing solely on social media. So we're going to keep that sale up, and new designs, new flavors, new things. And then we can pick again your avatar, and you're talking to them. What do they want to see? Well, we're going to make one of those. Maybe we do a giveaway. Maybe we do a day where we're doing a charitable drive. Everybody loves to get involved with charity. So as you're building your brand there, those are all things that can help bring attention to it. And shorten, again, we're trying to shorten that sales cycle. So if people know about you, that's automatically going to shorten it. So they know, oh, man, I want some brownies. I mean, those brownies from Drown Me in Brownies, those were really good brownies. Let's go get some more of those. And on and on and on and on. And it tumbles through and through and through. So I don't want to say the number one, but one of the things you need to be prepared for in all of this is the overcoming of objections. It is something that any salesman is going to be, it's going to be natural. If you have a conversation with a salesman and you come up with 5,000 reasons why something's not happening, and it doesn't have to be about closing a sale with a salesman, by the way. It can literally be about anything. The salesman's going to have a rebuttal and a reason that we can get around it, or a reason why we should get around it, and a technique of how we get around it. The salesman, it's naturally kind of built into us, is to overcome those objections. So if somebody says, hey, your price is too high. Well, maybe it is. My price is too high for you. Not too high for my customers, but too high for you. And you have to understand that. People are going to say, I can't believe you sell balloon animals for $35 a piece. Well, I get it. You don't get that. It's not the market I'm looking for, and you go on. But when you're talking to somebody that actually is in the market for a $35 balloon animal, which I wouldn't buy, I don't know how it would be $35 balloon animal. Terrible analogy. Should have stuck with the brownies, Dave. I'm going to drink and think about it for a moment. You guys have a drink too. Oh, no, we're going to go back to brownies. Back to brownies. That was the right decision. I should have stuck with brownies. So why do we want a $12 brownie? Why do we want an $8 brownie? Well, you can go ahead and get your Betty Crocker mix out at home. Now, don't say this. This is rude. But that's the thing. You're not talking to them. You're not resonating with them. So the more you refine and define your customer avatar, the easier it's going to be to connect with your customers. I really need West. Where the heck? I need West. They've got their cardigans. Just hop on the show with me for a little bit here. No, we'll be all right. So okay, here I've got Devin over here commenting. It's all about the labor. Okay, all about the labor. I don't know where that ties in, but yeah, sure, it's about labor. There's some labor involved. We're talking about overcoming the objections. So when somebody says that, I can't afford it, well, can you not afford it right this moment? Is there buying plans or saving plans that, hey, this is something worth saving up? So this is a great tie-in. Sony, when it released the PlayStation 4, they're on the 5 now, right? Yeah, the PlayStation 4, and they announced the price of it. The president of Sony, or of the games for the PlayStation, said, I want people to want to take a second job or put in overtime to be able to afford this system. Not that he thought that people shouldn't make enough money to be able to buy this, but he believed in his product so much that he went on record in public and said people should be willing to take it. This is such a good system. People should be willing and are willing to take a second job to be able to afford this system. That's saying a lot. That is somebody standing up and saying this product is with it. So if you have a person complaining about price of this or that and the other, you have a pretty easy and a pretty simple rebuttal. Is if somebody says it's too expensive, it probably is for them. But if you have your right, if you have met the price equilibrium in your market, the demographic or the avatar that you're shooting for, just, I've said it many times, anytime you think about lowering your price, raise it 10%. The skill of tying the balloon in. Oh, okay. It's all about the labor. Okay. All righty. So we left the balloon analogy behind and moved on back to brownies, man. You can't go calling up things I've moved on past. What's wrong with you, brother? So anyway, so we're overcoming objections, and there are multiple. So we've talked about pricing. What about availability? Right now, that's a huge. Oh my Lord, trust me. Day in, day out, it is my life is talking about the availability of product. Price is it's not even tertiary. It is down the list. It doesn't make 1, 2, or 3. It is down the list on price right now. Availability is number one. Being able to close the sale and accomplish a project or goal on time is a currency in and of itself right now. With the way the supply chain is across the globe, it is very. Hold on a second now. My wife is texting me on Facebook, and it's popping up on my screen here. CNY Brewfest Festival of Beers. All right, I agree with this interruption. It was appropriate. But now that part of the screen is like, nope, I'm done. It's locked up. So hoping it's still all working. Unresponsive. Sure, we'll wait. Anyway, I don't know what's going on over there, but anyway, apparently there is a festival of beers going on here sometime soon. I'm guessing that's trying to load whatever it is. So I can't see. Okay, we're going to exit the page and we'll have to just log back in. So if you guys are out there, I do apologize. We're trying to work through this new software here and running everything off of this one computer here, as opposed to everything off of West Computer out west, or out in Columbus. So it may have just been something on Facebook going down. So we're going to whistle Dixie here for a couple seconds while we try to get that up. So we were talking about the availability being a currency in and of itself. It's still not back up, but we'll just move on and pretend that everything's working and hope for the best. So, well, oh snap. I don't like how it says, okay, Google, I don't need something to go, oh snap. Okay, so that's just the browser itself not working. Most interesting. But the other tab is working. Ah, well. How about if we do a whole new window? New window? Everybody, there we go. Yes. Always professional all the time here at the Underdog. You know what we should do? We should drink more. That's it. That'll make it all better. Absolutely. Okay, so I have no idea what's going on. It is absolutely not happy with whatever is going on here. So anyway, currency availability. So, we're going to stick with brownies. We're going to pick on the Drown Me by Brownies all night long. That's just kind of where, we're staying at the moment, is the Drown Me by Brownies analogy. And, the availability of artisanal, I said it again, drink. The availability of said brownies is a thing to come into play too. Hey guys, we're going to have an issue here with a little bit of audio for just a brief moment. And I should be able to mute it. And we're back. We've been derailed. We have. It went completely sideways, but we're back. Everything's back online now. So I don't know why, but the Googles just decided, hey, this browser, I'm done with it. I'm done with this browser. So I had to close that down and open up a whole new setup. So anyway, where were we? We've talked about pricing. We're talking about availability right now. So how prevalent are this quality of brownie? And now we're talking about quality here in a moment, but how prevalent is it to be able to get custom? I need to find another word for artisanal. Creative brownies. How easy is it to get your hands on this? And what does your cell structure look like? Which we want to talk to her about. Emily, that's her name. Almost completely forgot it. Not forgot it. I'd never really remembered it. But Emily and what her cell structure looked like and the time windows. There's actually, all right. Here we go. Time for tangent time. David's tangent number 7,500. Emily, I need you to take a look at, there was a pizza shop in Central Ohio called the Wizard of Za. Now, for those of you outside of Central Ohio, this is going to be completely gourmet. I like that. Good word. Completely weird to you guys. And it was weird to us too. But the Wizard of Za makes pizza on focaccia bread, and they make so much focaccia a day, and that's it. So they make so many pizza a day, and that's it. So, and they sell every one of them. For over a year, this company was backlogged. A pizza company was backlogged. They didn't deliver. You had to go pick it up. You bought and paid for your, Emily, listen to this very importantly. Emily, they bought and paid for their pizzas at the time that they booked their pickup window up to 3 and 4 months out. I'm buying a pizza today that I'm going to eat in 3 or 4 months. And I'm picking my time of when I'm going to pick my pizza up. I'm picking its very limited toppings. They don't have it's not a crazy wide selection of what you can get on it. But that was it. And they were booked selling 100% of their goods with a backlog of 4 to 6 months. Now, for the Drown Me in Brownies world, I would recommend something very, very similar to that, that allows you to book a pickup time. But when you book that time, so you might say, well, this Steve down the road may not do that. Steve down the road will do it if it's the right product. I did it. I thought it was absolute asinine, but I had a lot of people tell me it was a really good pizza, and I'm fat and I like pizza, so I had to give it a try. And if I have to wait for it, then you know what? I have to wait for it. So when you book your gourmet brownies online and you have that window, now pay for it then. Okay, back to the overcoming objections. So now we've talked about availability, we've talked about price, we've talked about we're going to talk about the quality. Okay, was it worth it though? Absolutely. Was it worth the wait? Was absolutely irrelevant. There was no choice. Do I want to make it a standard practice to wait 4 to 6 months for my pizza? No, but it was definitely worth something to try. And if you've never had the Wizard of Za and you are in Central Ohio, you got to give it a shot. You absolutely have to give them a try. I don't think it's near as bad as it used to be. I think they've come down off of we're brand new kind of thing. And they've also, I think, expanded capacity. So, both of those things working in their favor. I still don't believe they're throwing away too much stuff at the end of the day. I do believe they're still selling, a significant portion of everything they make, if not all of it. So back on to the objection. So we talked about the pricing. We talked about the availability. Now we're going to talk about gourmet. We're going to talk about artisanal. We're going to talk about the quality of the product that you're putting out there. Yes, I can go to the store and get myself some Duncan Hines. That's a brownie mix, right? Betty Crocker, Duncan Hines. Yeah. And I can mix it up at home and I can make myself some brownies. I can do that. And I do that from time to time. Or I have one of my kids do it, or we do it together, and they're store-bought box brownies. Occasionally, we'll try to put some icing on one or two and make it something fancy, but they look and are store-bought brownies. It's just, now, to me, I like taking them hot out of the pan, throw some ice cream on it. Again, fat and hungry. So, that's just how it goes. So we're offering, from a brownie standpoint, we're offering 3 different things here. you got a competitive price. I've seen the prices on there. I would raise them if anything. I definitely wouldn't lower them. You've got the availability. You have your time slots. You have your windows. I like that. And then we have something that you can't just whip up at home because people just, A, we don't have the time, and B, we don't have the skills. Or you can say, A, we don't have the skills because we don't, and B, we also don't have the time to put that kind of care into stuff. So it is, it's a pretty good, I think what she's got is a good product and a good way to move forward. And, as far as overcoming those objections, they should be very easy with that product and the marketing tips that we're willing to give you for a small fee, plus tax, shipping and handling. So, we've talked about the objections, and one of the, and I'm gonna go off kind of off script here, because I got a couple tidbits, put on my iPad out here in front of me, is you have to know that when you're talking with somebody and, this is not a tangent, but we're going to walk down memory lane here. I actually worked for Best Buy, very small window, because being in the field that I'm in, I had a lot of on-call time and a lot of things that I had to do after hours for my regular job. It didn't really work well with, and this was back in early 2000s, didn't really work well with, having a second job that wasn't as flexible. So when I go to, and I go there and I start working for Best Buy, and people are talking about, hey, buy this TV, and I'm looking at these price tags and I'm like, wow, these are expensive. These are expensive items. One of the guys came to me and said, the people that are coming in here are looking to buy this stuff. You can't go in here thinking that they're here to buy the cheapest thing possible. No, they're here to buy entertainment, and they're willing to spend money on it. You're going to have the off person here and there that just comes in, wants to buy the cheapest thing, get out the door. And you know what? You spend a very little amount of time with those people. You come in, they execute the deal, and you're gone. There's, the margins are usually very small on those product lines, but the most of the people that went in there, and especially when they wandered back into the TV section, which is where I was, and they went there to buy TVs. And so I took that one little bit of information that this guy gave me, and I said, all right, I'm going to sell the most expensive TV 5 times a day. And every shift I took, every time I worked there, I went and sold the most expensive stuff all the time. The Blu-ray players, or actually it wasn't even Blu-ray at the time, it was DVDs, DVD players, the TVs, which were, this is going to show my age here, the flat screen. They weren't flat panel TVs. They weren't like the LCDs like we have today. Just the front of the screen was flat. And those were the high dollar items. And it made it very, I got a bit of a name for myself of saying, all I did was sold the high end stuff. I mean, I very rarely even wandered into the aisles where the lower price stuff was, because that's not where the margin was. That's where the people that could literally self-serve, they could come in, purchase the product, grab what was on the shelf, throw it in their cart, and move on. If they needed help, they asked for help. They come, hey, can we get a cart? Yeah, you get a cart, and move on. But the people who were really in there to shop, it was really easy to guide them and say, hey, this is for me, it was always about the contrast ratio, the white to dark. What are we getting here? And it was really easy to sell that to just about anybody. And I did very well. Now, we didn't make commissions off anything, but, the company did well, and I got to goof around and sell, which was kind of my first foray into person-to-person sales. So the story for that, the reason for that story is to let you know that your buyers are looking to do just that. Buy. Don't be afraid to ask for the sale. Don't be afraid to, I don't have a problem asking people if they have millions of dollars available for said XYZ project, or tens of millions of dollars over the course of multiple years. I have no problem whatsoever making sure that their financing is in order. If I'm going to spend my time and my days and my hours working with someone, I want to know that they're prepared. If they are not prepared, what do I need to do to get them there? It may not be my time yet. It may not be time for me to step in and intercede with XYZ project or plan or thought process. I might need somebody else. I might need an extra bit help from marketing. I might need a little help from technical. Luckily for me, I do kind of all three: technical, marketing, and sales. But sometimes I still like to reach out to those people because it assures them that we have a group behind us to back me up. So you cannot be afraid to close the sale, and that's really what it boils down to. You know how you close the sale? We this boils it down to really brass tacks here. You close the sale by closing it. You close the sale, not the buyer. You go close it. You have to ask for it. You have to push it. I'm going to tell another, we're going to go off on a side story here again, because I'm kind of known for that I went to the Ohio State University's Big Ten championship game, whatever year it was, out in Indianapolis. And I go in, and I got my keys in my hand. The valet's kind of waiting on me, and I'm trying to get checked in. I'm like, hey, I want to get stuff taken care of. And I go in, they're like, hey, sir, we had an issue with your reservation. We actually have you booked for last week and not this week. I'm like, why would you do that? Oh, it was a mistake. So the moment that this guy told me that they'd made it, that there was a mistake, and he's like, and he tells me, we're all full. I turned around. I didn't even let him finish the sentence. I turned around, handed my keys, and gave $20 to the valet and said, thank you very much for your time. I've got some stuff I've got to work out here. So what I've done is I have now backed this guy into a corner that's behind the counter that he now has to find a spot for me. And you know what? They found a spot for me, and they gave me the rate plus a little. I had to pay a little extra difference from one week to the next because they had made that mistake. And I told him I wouldn't, be a stickler about it, but I did need a room. There was no option here. And so I asked them to close the sale for me. I didn't wait for them to go through and banter around or anything. So the biggest thing about sales, though, again, a biggest thing about closing sales, and here's the art of closing the sale, is exactly that. It is exactly that. It is closing the sale. Best time to plant a tree 30 years ago, the second best time today. That's right. The best time to close a sale? Well, if you're a salesman, you'll know. So let's see, where are we at? We're at 7:40, which is a lot longer than I thought I was going to go here, just completely monologuing tonight, which it is interesting. So to kind of wrap it up, I don't want to say put a bow on it because I haven't drank enough for that yet. Let's finish this up. Oh, dear Lord, that was a lot bigger drink of bourbon than wow. Okay. Well, we might be able to talk for another hour now. Back over to, you can put that, we've been derailed again, back up there. Closing the sale is exactly that, closing the sale. Do not be afraid. And this is one of the biggest things that I see from a lot of people out there from every level. I don't care what level it is. If it's at a person that is introductory, if you're selling brownies to the person who is selling NetJets memberships, it's ownership. It's like a fraction. It's like a timeshare for airplanes, for private jets, if you guys don't know what NetJets is. So, everybody from top to bottom, it is a problem with everybody across the board is you don't ask for the sale. A lot of times I see people come in, and I talked earlier about, tactics and things that I would just throw people out for. A lot of it is driving down and asking questions. Yeah, you want to take care of the customer, but you don't want to frustrate them so much asking questions because you can't. If I'm going in to make brownies for somebody and I need to find out whether they want, how much egg and how much, if I'm making them create my recipe, why the holy hell do I need them? So, and that's kind of what some of these tactics, and one of the things that I was looking through today, plus there's a whole sales platform called the Henderson, the Ferguson, the I don't know, some sales training thing. It's a huge course. And its whole premise is about continuously asking questions, always ask questions, and not open-ended questions like, some salespeople are taught, but just asking very specific questions so that you can drill down. And that's what they kept calling it. You need to drill down. You need to keep drilling down. And I'm setting in these training classes, and I'm just pulling my hair out. I'm like, I flat would throw you out of my business if you came in doing that. So just like if the person trying to sell me brownies comes in and says, hey, how much egg do you like? How much flour? How much cocoa? How much sugar? How much salt? How much baking powder? I mean, how much of this stuff do you want? I mean, at some point I'm like, do you know how to make brownies? You know what? I'm going to get back to you. And if you get that, it's over. So basically you say, how many dozen do you want? You don't ask, hey, I'm going to make you these brownies. You don't ask that. How many dozen do you want? Don't give them an option for a half dozen or three or two or one brownie. How many dozen brownies do you want? How many, you want these here tomorrow or you want them here next week? You give them how many do you want? When do you want them here? I've got the rest of it. You came to me because I'm the professional. I'm going to close this sale. I'm done talking to you. Let's move on. I'm going to go do what I normally do. And at our agreed upon time, you're going to eat some delicious brownies. So I think we have stomped around the brownie section of the evening quite well. So if there are anything over here, I don't see anybody chit-chatting over here. So I guess we're all good. And this will go down as probably the shortest Underdog Journey episode. I'm going to try to stretch it one more minute so that we have the 45. But if you guys have any questions that you'd like to fire off here, put them in the chat and we'll see if we can get up to them. And while you're doing that, I'm going to dump that ice cube because it's mostly melted. I put a new ice cube in and a little bit more Blanton's while you take the time to see if you want to drop something in the chat there. And I'll just pour a small one just in case. Nobody wants to talk. Everybody's shy all of a sudden. Everybody's shy. I got to tell you, next time there's a cardigan convention, I'm just going to tell West, we're going to have to broadcast from the cardigan convention because we can't be having this anymore. Nobody wants to just sit here and listen to me ramble. I got 5 people watching all of a sudden. What the heck's going on with you guys? You can't do something better to do. So I see the people watching. Anybody want to stop in here and say hi? Anybody want to put some chat down in the comments there? And any questions you have? You know, there's some things we do need to chit chat about. It doesn't have anything to do with business. Good talk. I completely agree. Of course you agree with me. You know me to be a very smart man. If I were wrong, don't you think I'd know? Very admittedly, very, very much struggled today. I work very well with a team, and because Wes and I have done this for so long now, it's almost I don't want to say a crutch, because I do another podcast, but it's for my business, and it's very, very constrained or very, very outlined. I make fun of West and his bullet points, but my my weekly thing that I do internal to my company is far more structured even than his bullet points are. So I kind of got to stop making fun of him. Hey, Jeff says, howdy, doing a great job. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And we're drinking Blanton's tonight. So hopefully you got yourself a nice cold drink or hot drink. I don't know. It's not too hot out there anymore, cold out there anymore. So maybe a hot toddy or something. I say that, but last year I was able to get out on my deck and smoke a cigar on the Leprechaun Day. What's that? St. Patrick's Day. And this year I had a foot and a half of snow still covering everything, and then we got hit with about another foot of snow on Saturday and Sunday. That was great. So I want to talk to you guys about something here soon. Hopefully we'll get some more details and information about it. Is the third annual Underdog Journey Real Life Outdoors. Here we go. I went all hillbilly on you. Real Life Outdoors with Shannon Black and Philip Black, and the charity fishing tournament that we host with them, in conjunction with them, to benefit the Easter seals of Central and Southern Ohio. That is something that's going to be coming up very soon. We're shooting for May, I believe. We're looking for a lake. We're still in the very beginning stages of it, trying to nail Shannon down. At the beginning of fishing season's a bit complicated because, he's fishing. And we don't always have the best of signals. We are looking to see if there's see if there is maybe a lake that will allow us to have, libations. And Wes and I plan on winning again this year. We won last year. Everybody else was like trying to catch fish. We sat back in the shade. We had a nice little canopy. We had cigars and a live band. So I honestly can't see how you can't call that a win. We did bring fishing poles. We did bring our fishing poles with us. I put mine together. I put the bottom half and the top half together. Wes didn't quite get that far, but we did get them out of the cars. So, that's how that went down last year. But It was all to raise money for the Easter Seals of Central and Southern Ohio. We have raised in the last 2 years about $12,000 for them. We're hoping to break that this year. And no bluegill. Well, I catch no bluegill. To catch bluegill, we'd had to put our fish hooks things in the water, and we didn't do that. But as I was saying, we raised about $12,000 over the last 2 years. We're hoping to break that. We'd love to get to the $10,000 mark. It's really kind of our goal is to get to 10K as a donation for the Easter Seals. I'm not sure. I think they're still using it for the park for the challenge down there in Lawrence County. So the money is coming from Lawrence County, staying in Lawrence County, Ohio. And none of the people involved take any cut whatsoever. We actually pay quite a bit to do this, to put us on, especially the lake, donating the spot, basically donating the lake for a day. It's a very wonderful thing to get involved in. So if you guys are in the area, if you're not in the area, you should get to the area and be part of it this year. We will definitely be giving you more information and more updates when we have it, so that we can build this out and make a wonderful showing this year. And again, really hope we can get to that 10K level donation to the Easter Seals. And so I don't have it to stay on that here. Let's help some people out. I'm going to take a brief moment here and get a little sidetracked because I really want to see if I can do this. I don't think I can pull it up and put it on the screen, but I'm going to make sure I get the name correct. There it is, Okay, so on it is Matthew Hamlin, Matthew Hamlin, Hamlin. It's N as in Nancy. I want you guys to look him up. Give him and send him a request to say, hey, I want to buy a t-shirt to help support your dad. He has made a design, very, very nice design, very nice t-shirt. I'm going to get one for myself and probably a couple more of them. And so if you guys can, go online there and look up Matthew Hamlin on Facebook. He's in Southern Ohio, in Chesapeake, and I think he said like $12. So let me pull it up so I don't have to lie to you. $12. So $12 each, prepay only, blah, 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 blah. Here, Fight Like a Hamlin. It's a very cool shirt. So that is an excellent thing. That the shirt itself is really cool. I really wish I knew this software a little bit better so I could pull it up and show you guys. But I definitely want to send that over to him. If you can, if you are able to do it, it's $12. Please reach out to Matthew Hamlin, and he is the guy from. Here, I just did it again. I want to make sure I get the name of his business right, because that'd be bad to mix that up. He is the guy, just so you guys know, he's the one who does the car wrapping and everything. There we go. Fidelity Wraps. I think it's Fidelity Mobile Wrap. Oh, dear Lord. Okay, I clicked the button. It opened TikTok and started playing music in my ears. I don't think you guys heard it because I think I have the desktop audio shut off for you, but it's Fidelity Mobile Wrapping or Fidelity Wrapping Solutions or something along those lines. But Matthew Hamlin, reach out to him, and if you can, for $12, get a shirt, the Hamlin Strong shirt, and help support his father. So that is it. That's all I have. It is 7:52, so I did stretch it out another 7 minutes. Got it close to the 8 o'clock time period. Unless anybody has something else to bring to my attention, I'm going to close this here meeting of the partially inebriated. I did not get nearly as inebriated as I should. I really should have drank one or two of these before the show. Probably would have helped out some. What I really needed was West over here to push me through some of these bullet points here. Because as I'm reading them, after I write them, I'm looking down here and going, well, I kind of told that story and it kind of covered that. I don't want to recapitulate, so we'll just move on. So if you guys have a problem with handling the kind of that hard close, the person is really being, obtuse about it and trying to walk away. And, sometimes it's good to walk away. You got to know when to hold them as it says. No one to fold them, no one to walk away, and no one to drink rum or something, whatever Kenny Rogers said. So I've been Dave. West has been out at the Cardigan Convention, and we wish him all the best. I wish I was there to be a stand-in co-host. Okay, all right. Well, we got a couple more minutes. So my wife, the lady that's way too hot to be married to me, first and foremost, was actually going to set in as a co-host with me tonight. And we were going to move the camera back, and we got a nice little thing. We were going to have a couple glasses of wine, a bottle or two over there for her, see how trash we can get her. And I would have my bourbon over here. And we were going to be talking about basically some sales and more tactics. But when she wasn't available, because our daughter plays sports all the time, so she's out taking care of the basketball world at the moment. But we were going to be talking about the travel agency. So if you guys do any kind of vacations, any kind of travel whatsoever, put your hashtag HotWife. Will you drop your company name, whatever it is that they need to click on to get to you? And, so I do a lot of travel just for work. And I honestly believe I'm about to turn over a lot of it to her just so that I can just be free of it. So I don't know if you guys know this, but it actually doesn't cost anything. So if you're going to Disney or in Orlando or over in California, if you're going on a Royal Caribbean cruise, if you're doing, I think she's certified on tons of cruise lines, and I think she's working on sandals right now. I got to tell you, I am stoked. Absolutely stoked that there it is. Nicole with Wishful Wondering Travel. Is that a link? Can we click that? Yeah, okay. So it is a link. So you can click it right out of the chat in the comments there. But something you may not know, and I didn't know this to begin with, it doesn't cost you anything to use a travel agent. Let me rephrase it. It costs you $1 million to use any travel agent except my wife. So if you reach out to Nicole with Wishful Wondering Travel, it actually doesn't cost you. The travel agencies are paid by the venues, by Disney, by Royal Caribbean, I think she did Carnival and Norwegian, maybe. I think a couple of the other cruise lines. And again, like I said, right now she's working on sandals. So sandals, to me is so I love cruising. If I could cruise and that's, to me, that's vacation. I absolutely love it. Everything's included. Different cruise lines include your drink packages and Wi-Fi and things like that. But for the most part, if you really wanted to, you could go on a cruise, and you're done. You don't have to pay another dime. You're just out, and there's no set schedule. If there's something you want to do, you go do it. They have set schedules, but for you just kind of go and do. And my wife, again, way too hot to be married to me. Okay, so she put over here in the chat, Celebrity, Royal Caribbean, Norwegian Cruise Line, and Virgin Voyages. Now, that's it. So I actually just had some friends in Florida take a cruise on Virgin Voyages, and it looks like, and please, if you go on vacation, put pictures on Facebook. I love watching people go on vacation. Absolutely love it. So one of the highlights of my day is to go on Facebook and see people out doing things and going on vacations and having fun, having a blast. Absolutely love it. So please do it. But if you go, please reach out to Nicole with Wishful Wondering Travel so you can. So anyway, she was actually going to sit in here. We were going to talk about the business of trying to spin up a kind of a service business that she is in. One of the things, and this kind of came across literally just a couple last week, I think, we had some people that are related to us who called at the very last minute to try to go do something that really you should be 6 months or better. They wanted to do it this weekend. When I say this weekend, it was actually last weekend. They wanted to go on a bit of a trip for a thing down in Florida, and they wanted to do it within just days. Now, this is one of the things a travel agent can do for you is kind of set those realistic expectations of what you're going to get into and kind of what your timeline should be. Me, I love booking my vacations about 1.5 to 2 years in advance. And I like having 3 to 4 to 5 vacations on the books at almost any given time. Now, right now, because of what we had planned for later this year, we kind of went into a vacuum because we were going to be doing, we're going to do Hawaii. But normally I like having those in the cycle. And the reason I do that is because, again, my wife knows how and what the sales cycle is for these individual businesses. And I know that if I want the best experience at, let's say, Walt Disney World, or I want the best experience at SeaWorld. It doesn't matter where it is. I want the best experience. I want to trust it to her to say, hey, this is the time frame. If you want to do this kind of event, this is the time frame we want to look at. Because if you do it any shorter than this, you may miss out on a certain dining. I'm a fat guy. I like to eat. Do not let me miss out on dining. I want to know all about it. I want the best restaurants. I want the best places. And it's really, really hard to do that by yourself. Or you turn it over to Nicole Leffingwell from Nicole with Wishful Wanderings Travel. Click the link in the comments there, and she'll handle all that for you. And she's got all the back channel and all of the, the ins and outs and all the little widgets on the stuff. And as one thing tumbles down or comes available, let's say you get in a little late and it's not available. I have sat and watched her check her email and go online 10, 15, 20 times a day for one customer just to say, hey, if somebody else cancels, can I get in and swipe that up real quick? So it's definitely something, if you guys are thinking about it, and I think we're going to have her on the show sometime very soon. Wes will be back with us, but we'll bring her on as a guest here. And I'll make her Skype from a different part of the house so that she's not sitting right next to me. Because, again, I don't want people comparing us because, again, hashtag way too hot to be married to me. So let's see. That took us out to 8 o'clock. That took us to 8 o'clock, guys. It is officially 8 o'clock. So I was able to stretch this podcast out all by my savvy lonesome till 8 p.m. And yes, I could probably just jibber jabber about anything else for the next 3 hours, but we're not going to do that to you. Hopefully we'll have Wes back next week, and he'll have a brand new cardigan, and he's going to tell us all about being the keynote speaker at the 2023 Cardigan Convention out in Texas. So you did it, Dave. Thank you, Ross, for your support. You were here the whole time. I was literally talking. In case you guys didn't notice, I literally was talking to Devin Ross the entire time tonight. I picked a specific customer of ours, and I spoke to that customer all night long. I did not talk to anybody outside. I talked to just that one customer tonight. So thanks again. I don't know how the end of this is going to work. There won't be any outro. The cardigan, yes. So apparently my wife missed the intro when I said, hey, this is David Leffingwell of the Underdog Journey. Wes couldn't make it here tonight. He's the keynote speaker at the Cardigan Convention out in Texas. So it works out very well here. There will be no outro music tonight. It will just kind of stop streaming, I think. But we will see. Until next week, West has been at the Cardigan Convention. I've still been David Leffingwell. This is the Underdog Journey, and we will catch you next week.